I had a boss in the Navy, Lieutenant Commander Gary Duncan. They used to say, only kids and clowns like surprises. Which one did you take me for? The truth is, none of us like surprises, although we've gotten them a lot this year. Sometimes they can knock us off our balance. They can throw us for a loop. They can stump us. Now, on podcast interviews, they're not looking to stump you. They're not making you look bad, but often you can get a question out of right field. Hi, this is Tom Schwab with Interview Valet, and I've done over 1,200 podcast interviews personally. Our company has helped over 500 clients get on over 20,000 podcasts to talk with tens of millions of ideal people. And I've heard all kinds of great things about questions that stump them. So let's talk about this. It will happen no matter how much you prepare. Now, granted, your one sheet, the things you do to give to the host will direct them to where you want to go. But every now and then, you'll get a question that makes you think. There's some ways to address that. One of the big things is just don't go, or have silence. Silence on a podcast or the air can be deadly. Now, granted, they may cut it out in editing, but it makes people think like you just ran away. So first, acknowledge it. Say, I have never been asked that question before. Another thing to do would be clarify the question. Maybe the question they're asking you is not what you heard. Maybe they thought something differently on that. So, just to ask them, hey, what do you mean by that? Tell me more. I want to make sure that I'm answering your question. That can help give you time also to think up the answer. Another one is just to acknowledge it, right? Say, wow, Jack, I have never been asked that question before. It's a great question. Let me think through it. Let's work through it right here. And that gives you a little bit of grace. And it also shows people that you can go off of your talking points. Now, sometimes it can be one that's out in left field. And I think of one of our clients was on a podcast, great podcast, but this gentleman does some wacky things on it. And we warned him beforehand on this. Well, this author happened to be from Texas. So all of a sudden, he plays this little game with them. And he plays 5 Texas rock bands and has to tell, the guest is supposed to tell him who they are. Well, this author, was actually a country fan. He'd heard of them, but really didn't follow them. Now, he was graceful in what he did. I think he guessed 1 out of the 5, but he went along with it. And then he used it to redirect back to what he was talking about. All he said was, you can tell when everybody else was listening to music, I was studying finance. And that's why I'm a lousy person when it comes to answering about music. But what I've put in this book is everything you need to know from when you're 9 to when you're 90. It was perfect. So have fun with it there. I guess ultimately you could do what the politicians do and just answer whatever question you want to, not the one they asked, but really put some thought into it. And remember, this is a conversation, not an interview. The best podcasts are a conversation. You'd never be sitting down with somebody over a cup of coffee and they would stump you with a question, right? They may ask you a question that you've never thought of before, but you'd work through it. So have fun with it. Go with the punches. Show your true personality out there. And if you do get asked a question that stumps you, acknowledge it. Go ahead and ask clarifying questions about it. Work through it. And at the end, acknowledge that, hey, I may not have known that one, but I am great on this subject. Have fun podcasting. It's a great way to build your brand, to build your business, to build your network. Exposure brings opportunity.
Has obscurity become your biggest problem? Stages have disappeared. Conferences are canceled. In-person meetings seem like a distant memory. Your prospective customers still need you. They still need to hear from you. Stop trying to break through the noise. It's not working. Get in on the conversation. Get featured as the expert guest on targeted podcast interviews. Podcasts are hot. Listenership is up 20% in 2020. Podcasts are the new digital stage. Leverage other people's established platform as a featured guest. Since 2015, Interview Valet has helped over 500 leading brands get featured on over 20,000 podcast episodes. You're the guest. We take care of the rest. Stop being the best kept secret. Find out how we can help you leverage targeted podcast interviews to get heard, to grow your brand, to grow your sales, to be recognized as the market leader.